Hey there! Welcome to Inside My Book Fort. Today I'm going to read a passage from Downtown by Anne Rivers Siddons. Out over Atlanta that fall, in the blue twilights, girls came clicking home from their jobs in their clunky heels and mini skirts and opened their apartment windows to the wine-sap air and got out ice cubes and put on Pet Clark singing Downtown, and they sat down to wait. Soon the young men would come, drifting out of their bachelor apartments in Bermuda shorts and topsiders, carrying beers and gin and tonics, looking for a refill and a date, and the keeping of promises that hung in the bronze air like fruit on the eve of ripeness. Atlanta in the autumn of 1966 was a city being born, and the energy and promise of that lying in sent out subterranean vibrations all over the just stirring South like underground shock waves, a call to those who could hear it best, the young. And they came. They came in droves from small sleeping towns and large drowsing universities, from farms and industrial suburbs and backwaters so still that even the building firestorm of the civil rights movement had not yet rippled the surface. It was a time for youth. A tall new president had sent out a call of his own, and the young rose up for him with joy and purpose and the unbroken surety of his invincibility and theirs. That he had died what was considered a true martyr's death in another slow, smiling, murderous southern city did nothing to stem the rush of their ascendancy. On the contrary, it gave them focus and outrage to leaven their callousness, lent them a touch of becoming darkness. It was, after all, a very heady thing to have a new slain hero of one's own. Strengthened and salted with his blood, the young surged toward the sun, and nowhere did they preen and jostle and mass themselves so thickly for the coming of what? Than in Atlanta. The city was suddenly full of them, pretty girls in new Carnaby Street knockoffs, streaming into the heart of town to their secretarial jobs. Young men in dark suits and narrow ties and polished cordovans and self-conscious new sideburns, marching into banks and brokerage office and law firms and the budding businesses that they would ride like the tails of comets up to meet the high young sun. They met, of course they did. They met and came together in pairs and groups and broke apart and reformed like patterns in a kaleidoscope. It was a common saying in the first singles apartments of the city that if a girl couldn't get a date in Atlanta, the nunnery was the next step. And it was said, too, that if a man couldn't get a girl there, he'd do better to go back to Birmingham. And it was largely true. A girl, a man, a career, a romance, a life. It was all out there just ahead. I remember those autumn days of hope and exuberance and pale lemon sunlight, of softly chilled nights with scarlet leaves lit to translucence by city lights, so full of portent and promise that I often felt my very heart would burst with it. "Oh, wait, just wait," rang the song in mine and many hearts. "Oh, soon, soon." The first thing I saw was a half-naked woman dancing in a cage above Peachtree Street. It was a flood-lit street, and plexiglass affair hung from a second-story window, and the